Some of us say they want a kind, gentle anime girl who's honest with her feelings. But the second a girl stutters, punches someone out of embarrassment, or says something along the lines of, "It's not like I like you or anything," our brains immediately think that, yeah, she's the one. Because let's face it, we, me and you as in the viewer, we want a girl who will be mean to us, insult us, and then after all that, make us lunch. Because tsundere girls aren't just cute, they're emotional roller coasters disguised as romance plots. And deep down, we love every second of it. So today, we're breaking down the psychology of why tsundere girls are secretly the best. From Asuka Langley to Taiga Aisaka, let's talk about pride, vulnerability, and why the hardest love to earn ends up meaning the most. To start off, let's define this type of anime girl. A tsundere is basically an emotional roller coaster because they're cold one moment, warm the next, almost like a weather report that loves you. It's basically like a slight chance of violence followed by kindness. But the thing that separates them from the average mean girls these days are why they act this way. They're not mean because they hate you. They're mean because they like you, and that's what terrifies them. Let's take Taiga Aisaka from Toradora. She's tiny, violent, and emotionally allergic to honesty. But behind the punches and the yelling is a girl terrified of being hurt again. Her temper protects her while her insults are a way of not letting anyone get too attached. Or Asuka Langley from Neon Genesis Evangelion. Every moment is just her teasing, but also begging for validation in the only way she knows how to. And that way is by masking her insecurities behind dominance. Because for a tsundere, love isn't natural. Instead, it's more like a war. And that's the beauty of it, because they fight against feelings. And when they finally give in, it really means something. You don't receive affection because you earn it. The first layer of tsundere's heart is pride. Characters like Chitoge Kirisaki from Nisekoi or Louise from Zero no Tsukaima are prideful to the point of self-destruction. They'd rather die than admit they like you first. But why is that? It's because vulnerability is terrifying when you care that much. Tsunderes build a wall not to keep others out, but to test who's willing to climb them. It's basically their way of letting you know that if you really like them, you have to prove it. And that's where the magic happens, because every time she gives you an insult, a slap, or "it's not like I care," it's an emotional tension that's disguised as comedy. Because under all that attitude, they secretly don't want you to leave. And when those walls finally come crumbling down, when Chitoge blushes, or when Taiga cries, or even when Asuka finally admits she needs someone, it's so powerful because you've seen the war they fought just to say those words. Tsunderes make you work for love, and that's exactly why their love feels so rewarding. Here's the thing though, every tsundere has two sides, the night and dawn, the fire and ice, the yin and yang, you get the point. The thing is, you have to survive long enough to see both. Let's look at Rin Tohsaka from Fate/Stay Night. She's intelligent, stubborn, and competitive, but when she finally lets her guard down, she's caring, loyal, and deeply affectionate. Her warmth feels earned because it's rare and hard to get. Or Misaka Mikoto from A Certified Scientific Railgun does this perfectly as well, because she's confident and sharp-tongued, but when she blushes or looks away after saying something nice, it hits you right in the gut because it's genuine. Tsunderes don't say "I love you" easily, so it makes you feel like you've won the lottery when they do. They remind us that love isn't just about sweetness, but it's more about growth, effort, and patience. When you finally start falling for a tsundere, that's the moment you finally start understanding her. And when she finally lets you in, you realize the whole time she wasn't being mean, but she was just protecting herself. But before we continue, let's be real for 1 second. Tsunderes are walking contradictions, which is the exact thing that makes them so psychologically fascinating. Their behavior is rooted in what's often known as avoidant attachment, which basically means that they're craving attention but they fear rejection. So for example, instead of saying "I like you," they'll throw a pillow at your face. In general, it's not aggression, but instead it's emotional confusion. Take Nino Nakano from the quintessential quintuplets. She starts off hating Futuro with every fiber of her being, but eventually that hate slowly transforms into love once she realizes he actually sees her for who she is. Her aggression wasn't about anger, but instead it was fear. Fear of being vulnerable again and the fear of not being chosen. Hi, future me here. I just want to apologize for including Kagome and Marin because I don't know how I messed up my research that much, but I promise I'll do better next time. Anyways, back to the video. Or Kagome Higurushi from Inuyasha. Every
Sit, boy!
moment hides attention because she knows Inuyasha will keep coming back, which deep down she trusts that he's safe enough to tease. And what makes me and you love tsunderes is that they don't love regularly, but instead they love chaotically. And that chaos feels human, and it gives us a sense of peace deep inside. Old school tsunderes were violent and loud, such as Louise, Asuka, and Taiga. They were the type of tsunderes to hit you before saying good morning. But modern tsunderes have evolved. Characters like Kirisu Makise from Steins Gate or Marin Kitagawa from My Dress Up Darling show a more balanced version, which makes them more confident, teasing, but emotionally mature. Kirisu hides affection behind sarcasm and not violence, while Marin teases Gojo relentlessly, but even so, every word she says shows that she genuinely cares. Now we're seeing a new wave of tsunderes, the ones that don't just act cold, but also show emotional complexity, that they still have pride, but it's more so mixed with self-awareness. And that evolution mirrors us, because maybe we've all learned that showing affection doesn't mean you're losing control, and tsunderes are growing up, and so are we. So why do tsundere girls have such a chokehold on the anime community? Because they represent the kind of love we wish existed. The love that starts in conflict but ends in understanding. And they're living proof that love doesn't have to be perfect to make it real. They might challenge you or they might frustrate you, but in the end, they also make you earn every smile, every hug, and every insult is said with affection. Tsunderes turn love into a journey. You start as enemies, become friends, and end up with something built on pure effort. And maybe that's why they stick with us, because in human nature, the harder it is to get something, the more value it has when we finally have it. They teach us a very important lesson most people overlook. That is that love doesn't solely rely on chemistry, but instead it's more so about trust. They don't let anyone in easily, and that's what makes their affection sacred. They remind us that sometimes the people who push us away are the ones who care the most. Their resistance is almost like a test instead of rejection, and if you pass that test, you don't just get into their heart, but more importantly, you get the respect. Because when a tsundere says, "It's not like I like you or anything," what she secretly means is, please don't stop trying. So yeah, maybe tsunderes aren't just anime stereotypes. Maybe they're mirrors that are showing us that even the toughest of hearts can still crave softness. They make us laugh, they make us cry, and sometimes they'll make us duck for cover. But through all that, they remind us of something important. Love that is earned is love that lasts. So the next time you have a girl who calls you an idiot with a blush to her face, take the hint proudly because congratulations, you just got noticed by a tsundere. Thanks for watching, and I just wanted to say I am super grateful for all y'all that watched my last video. Thank you so much. Anyways, make sure you subscribe, or me and you will end up with no girlfriends. Also, one small clarification before I end the video. Kagome and Marin aren't tsunderes, but I just use them for like references and like their vibe and stuff like that. So I hope you understand that. So don't come after me. I messed up, but please don't come after me. Until next time, bye bye.